Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphany. So we're going to begin here on this article on U.Today. It's titled Ripple President Excited at XRP's On-Chain Volume Growth in Q1. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, Ripple President Monica Long, one of our warriors, right? Anytime I hear Monica Long's name, I get excited because I know I'm about to hear some good news. Monica Long is hungry, always expanding XRP use on-demand liquidity around the world. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says, Ripple President Monica Long has expressed delight at the growth seen for XRP on-chain and exchange volumes in the last quarter. That's nothing. Wait until you see what we're going to do in the future. But let's continue. She points out that cryptocurrency has remained resilient despite the absolute mania in the financial markets. The fiat rails to these banks, used by the majority of crypto sector to move money into and out of crypto, had to be rebuilt as a result of the following closures of the three primary banks servicing crypto businesses in Q1 2023, which necessitated the search for new partners. Yes, I'll say this. Of course, Ripple, wants to deal closely with the banks. I think that's the only reason that they do. Like, they held a little bit of capital at this bank and so it's to keep a good relationship. They don't really need the banks. They don't. Now, with the liquidity that we can scrounge up and the technology that we have, and then, of course, if individuals can custody their own capital, so can companies, but then that comes with certain liabilities, right? You'd have to have a certain measure of insurance for that. I always postulated since the beginning, if you watch the old videos long time ago, I said I believe that a lot of these companies could become banks like Ripple. And you saw then the advent of LCX trying to become a bank. Then after that, we saw Kraken. I think Kraken has a portion of it that is a bank, correct? Right? At least they filled out the applications to become a bank. I'm not sure if they ever actuated that. My apologies. I don't keep up with Kraken very often. But so anyway, yeah, so they don't really need the banks, but they're trying to keep that relationship with them. I mean, they have hundreds signed up. I firmly believe they're going to have thousands of banks. There's no way around it. If you want to replace Swift, you have to go into the thousands of banks. Now, if we're doing all of this with hundreds of banks, what are we going to do with thousands of banks? Swift has what, like over 10,000 banks or something like that? You mean to tell me we can't take a modicum of that? I think that we can. I think that's logical. We do things the legacy system can't. Their system is no longer wanted by the world. Look up and see BRICS. And you'll understand what I'm talking about. We're going to dominate. We're going to take over. It's inevitable. I mean, look, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not here to convince you at all. I'm just speaking for myself. All right. But no, I firmly believe we're going to dominate. We're not going to lose this. We're going to win. They're losing. They're the ones chasing after the breadcrumbs of what we throw on the ground. We throw smart contracts on the ground. They eat that up. We throw near instant real-time settlement with cross-border payments through DLTs. We throw that on the ground. They eat that up. Meanwhile, we're moving forward. I know we're sitting on innovations, but let's read this little tidbit here. It says, despite broader financial turmoil, XRP market volumes increased 46% quarter over quarter in Q1 based on data from the Crypto Compare, most likely as a result of a combination of the market recovery that followed and significant volatile events that tend to cause volume spikes. On the other hand, listen, none of that is going to matter. Few things. One, when we get into this case, boom, XRP will explode. Nobody knows how high, but I believe it's going to be significant. Yep, there's going to be volatility. One of our people in the comment section was discussing that with me in the comment section the other day. And I've said that a bunch of times. If you look at my videos, it was like XRP $3 to $5, or one of them might have been titled like, first they'll break them, or $8 to $10 will break them. I was talking about the volatility in those videos, right? Those videos are easy to find because people will take profit. They've been holding for a long time. I already know it. And psychological warfare, although it's affecting some people now, it's like a timed release on some people later. They're going to get out of XRP no matter what they say. It's going to be a lot of volatility. And I believe that a lot of big institutions will wait for that coast to clear. It's not going to take long for retail to break and shake. They're going to break camp. And then the big money will come in. Now, so anyway, first, the ending of the case, boom. Then The small banks and small businesses come in, keep them in mind. Nobody's looking at the small banks. Look up that news on the small banks. They're getting hurt. The central banks and the big commercial banks are stomping them into the ground. They're hemorrhaging deposits. Look that up. They're going to need DLT. They're going to need XRP to survive. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So they'll come in. Boom. First flood. First flood. Then the medium-sized businesses are going to get involved. Boom. Second flood. You can go based on capital if you want to look at the small businesses versus medium size. Then all the big businesses, central banks, large commercial banks get involved. Non-banking financial institutions, and then we get the tsunami. Boom, 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 multitude. I've been saying that for a long time. That's how I look at it. Let's continue on here. It says on-chain activity on XRP Ledger continued to be robust. I like that word. With decentralized exchange volume rising 34% to 115 million in Q1. Remember these numbers. This is nothing. These are little. And then in the future, you're going to be like, man, I remember when volume was rising 34% and it was 115. Just like people look back on Bitcoin when it was at a low. Now look where it is. The future is bright for the bank coins. We're going to look back on this and laugh. That's what I believe. Doesn't have to be a guarantee, all right? Because I know a lot of people want to go against the grain. No, Alphanim. You can have your own beliefs. It's perfectly fine. It says on centralized exchanges, the average daily volume of XRP increased by 46% in the first quarter from 698 million to 1 billion. At one point in March, XRP took the top spot in terms of trading volume on South Korea's two major exchanges, Upbit and Bithumb. I just covered an article on that, so we don't need to talk about that. In Q1 2023, XRPL on-chain transactions increased 9% to 116 million from 106 million in the previous quarter. Since XLS20 went live on the mainnet, NFTs have continued to fuel activity and over 1 million assets have been created on Ledger. Let me say something about something else. Now, I have said for quite a few times that I believe that they're holding back innovation. One of the reasons that I don't believe they're announcing innovation, and also I believe that one of the reasons they hold back some of the announcements on a lot of the banks that they're working with, they don't want people to, first on innovation, they don't want people stealing their innovations. A lot of companies are doing that right now. They're holding back until they can unleash. So people can't copy them, right? They can't copy what they're doing. And when I say that, I'm mostly referencing the legacy system. They copied everything that we've done. That doesn't mean we gave them everything. We didn't, right? We didn't show them all of our capabilities, right? When we have the rapid expansion, like look at the actual capabilities of Hbar as an example. What Hbar is doing now is nowhere near close to what it can do. Look at the white papers, right? So that's what I mean. They're holding some of the cards close to chest. Same thing with some of the business announcements. Like they're not going to say, hey, we're doing business with this one or that one and put them on the radar of their other competitive businesses that could then step in and they didn't know that this business was open for contracts or open to make deals with. Now they do. Now they're in that company's inboxes and they're making phone calls every day trying to get a meeting. And out of respect, companies will give you a meeting, right? So now you're able to maybe close some deals. So you don't want to give competitors that edge. No, you want to keep that close to the vest until you're ready to actualize on those deals. As simple as that. This is a brutal, vicious game, folks. You got to keep some of those cards close to your chest and keep a poker face. Don't let the enemy know what you're doing, especially the legacy system. But anyway, so I kind of juggled there between the legacy system and then just other crypto entities, trying to follow in the footsteps of, XRP, Stellar, Quant, and such like that, right? So we have a lot of that going on, right? So now let's move on to another article here. That was a good article. I enjoyed it. I really did. I hope everybody's doing good out there. Let me give a few shout outs right now from, I can't remember which video this was from. It's either from yesterday's or the one before that. I want to give a shout out to Infinity Warrior, Ian Houston. Big shout out to Ian Houston. Big shout out to Asti. Big shout out to E4U Now. All right. Big shout out to Bo Rabbit. Shout out to Matthew, shout out to Ahmed, and shout out to Dr. Slimeball. Oh, and also shout out, got my broken crayon in my hand. Shout out to Blockchain 663. All right. All right. I have a lot of art supplies down here that I make my pictures with. And, you know, I have a lot of good projects going on. But anyway, you gotta, and let me tell you something. First of all, like, I know, like, a lot of the art that I've made, it's in certain styles. Like, sometimes I'll dabble in pointillism. I don't really like cubism too much, but I use that. Sometimes I like to work with acrylics are really my favorite when it comes to paint. But listen, you also have to be abstract. I like to just let my mind free. So yeah, I'll get a crayon and just, you know, get some charcoal and just start letting images out of my mind, you know. Anyway, so, and you know, I'm not big on smudging, but I use a little bit of smudging technique around the edges of certain things just to bring a little bit of realism to it. You know, I was studying hyper realism for a while. Anyway, some of you are veteran artists. I don't need to tell you that stuff like that. You're probably much better than I am at art. But let's move on here. So this article here is from U.Today. And it's titled, Ripple's XRP report, brace for more uncertainty. Wait, now I want to skip all the way through that article to the bottom where there's a section titled Ripple versus SEC. And it says this: in addition to expecting uncertainty over the next few months, Ripple gave its view on the litigation with the SEC, which has been dragging on for more than 2 years. The crypto company said it expects a summary judgment in 2023. However, the timeline ultimately depends on the court, Ripple clarified. Okay, now, for quite some time, we had Ripple lawyers. They've been very excited. I think they know they're going to have a victory. That's why they've been excited. And so we've heard a lot of dates thrown out there. And they've been very willing to throw dates out there. You know, they said April one time, then now they're saying some sort of May time period, like May 6th or something like that, because the judge usually makes a judgment around that time. Then I've heard, I can't remember who said this. I believe it was some reputable said it would be sometime in the summer. So now they're starting to come to grips with, listen, only the judge knows when things are going to happen. There's no need to throw out dates. Listen, those who are patient, they will reap the gains of their patience. But there's no need to stoke those fires. Just let it happen. And on top of that, you don't want to annoy the judge. Don't do that, right? So I like that they're coming to grips with they don't know the timeline. It's okay not to know. Just keep fighting hard. Focus. Fight hard. Win the case. Don't give up, okay? Keep that lion in you. And when you have clarity, when it ends, it just happens. It's based on the judge. Let it remain in the judge's hands. It says previously, the company and its executives had expressed hope that the verdict would be brought in as early as the first half of 2023. Yes, but it was only hope. It wasn't a guarantee. I think many of us understand that. Patience wins the day. And if a victory should come, and I believe that it will, it'll be well worth the patience, well worth the wait. Wasn't so eloquent on that, but let's move on to another article here. So it said, this is an article from beincrypto.com, and it's titled, Will XRP price reach new heights in 2023? That depends. Wait, they're going to go into chart reading and stuff like that, but I'm not going to go too deep into that. But let's read like the first few sentences. It says Ripple XRP has stayed above 40 cents for 30 consecutive trading days. Long-term holders are showing diamond hands while whales buy the dip. Yes, because we know what's coming. We've done a lot of research. This goes deep. I said it in a video yesterday. This goes much deeper than people anticipate. You have governments tied up with XRP. You have central banks tied up with XRP. There's other companies as well tied up in there. But we know, like, there's companies that we don't talk about that have already proven that they use blockchain. So it goes deep. And I'm about to put another thing. I'm about to put out a members only video serious business. Serious business. This is one I think if you're a visionary, if you want to know something major to keep your eye on into the future, watch this video. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I've had a lot of people asking how to join the members only section. I've said this a myriad of times. Maybe some people are new to the channel. Down below, there is a join button. If you want to, you don't have to join, but if you want to, down below is a join button. You click that join button below the video or on my channel's homepage, and it will give you some options, whichever option you want to take. Okay. So that's how you join the members only section. But I'm going to release that video tonight, and it is potent in my humble opinion. And it's something a lot of people are not looking at. But let's go on here. It says, long-term investors are showing diamond hands. Of course. According to on-chain data, long-term holders of XRP are increasingly confident about XRP price prospects. It says, whales are buying the dip. In addition, the accumulation wave among XRP whales also confirms the bullish momentum within Ripple ecosystem. Okay, let me stop. I've read so many comments from all the different comment sections. I know most people, you just see the comment section under that video you're commenting in. I get flooded with the comments from all YouTubers get flooded with all the comments from every video. Every video. And I'm going to give you the average of what people are calling for price. Okay. I think I'm seeing most people talk about a $6 to $10 price. That's the range that I'm seeing the most. Okay. I got a lot of people saying 6 to 8, 8 to 10. That $6 to $10 range is where people are saying the most that they believe. It's just what I'm saying. Of course, look, we're all just commenters in the comment section. So, you know, maybe some people are professional, maybe some people are not, but it's all just speculation in the end. But that's where people believe is going to go after the case ends. $6 to $10 after the case ends. I'm talking about immediately. The people are saying they're expecting it to rocket there. Personally, I'm looking more like $3 to $5. That's what I'm seeing. I'm weighing everything from what I've seen from the stock market. I know, but bear with me here. I'm looking at what I've seen from the stock market, my stock market experience, where you have low price stocks that are going to explode, then they do, boom, and where they could go and how volatility affects them. I'm weighing the psychology of the people, and let me tell you, people sold quickly. I don't want to go into that. Then I'm weighing the last bull run. Now, we made a lot of good calls because from that last bull run, so we have data to work with. I'm looking at the psychology of when we call for Cello, and then boom, Cello went parabolic multiple times. Algorand, boom, went parabolic that last bull run multiples of time. We were talking about these things when they were nothing. Batcoin, boom. Zilliqa, boom. Polygon, boom. Cardano, boom. So we have data to work with. And I'm telling you, by going by that data, 3 to 5, and I could be wrong, 3 to 5 is where I think immediately after the case it goes. There's going to be a ton of volatility. Then when it breaks past there, you're going to have some people with diamond hands, but their hands are not as diamond as others. Then we can see it go to that $8 to $10 range. You know, and as I said before, $8 to $10 breaks them. I think there's going to be consolidation there because the companies are going to see that. And they're going to wait for people to get impatient, and people are already impatient. Some people are very impatient. They believe, but not as much as others. And that impatience, they'll let that set in for a while. It's not going to take long. And some people will break. They will sell. Then you start to see that price going back down, dropping back down. And then certain companies will jump in. Boom. Then maybe we're going to see that $15, $20 range. Just my humble thoughts. We have a lot of data to work with, but we have to look at the psychology of participants in the market as well. There's going to be a lot of people, they've left. They were done. They washed their hands of it. But that money calls to you. I'm telling you, that money calls to you. I've seen it before. I hate to keep referencing the stock market, but that's where I began. And we made some beautiful gains there. But there were people who were done with certain stocks. They cursed the stocks. They were finished with the stocks. And, you know, at that time, I was still a young trader. And I remember, because people always let it be known what's going on in those like they had like chats or whatever you leave your post in. And when everything started going up, immediately they were back. Boom. And they came and got in heavy, very heavy, buying big. And then they rode the price up and they sold. But when they sold at a certain psychological range where I knew they didn't believe it was going to go past that. They didn't understand the catalyst completely. They just saw the price going up. So they sold, price comes down a little bit, consolidates there just for a short time. Then it explodes up again multiple times. I've seen this. So I believe a lot of those types of individuals are coming back. $8 to $10 breaks them. Then boom, maybe we go a little bit higher based on all the different companies that could be using XRP, all the different corridors that could be using XRP, central banks, governments, etc. Now they're getting into this little aid thing like how Stellar is doing. I believe that was XRP the other day. Wasn't that XRP? XRPL? Somebody has some like aid offering their billion on XRPL. Anyway, so that's what I feel about price, right? We'll go a little, as we get more articles like this, maybe we'll generate more thoughts on that. So now let's go here to a little bit of Stellar news. So Stellar is very funny because they want to, they're working with so many legacy system entities. It's unbelievable. I can't wait for Stellar to play. I can't wait for it to start going up. But they also, from time to time, they take shots at the legacy system. It says here, it's a quote from Stellar, quote, "The inefficiencies of the legacy financial system disproportionately affect the marginalized and the people working to help them." That's shots fired at the legacy system. Stellar hasn't had many problems. It's one of the most decentralized cryptos on the planet. I don't think they're going to have any problems, but who knows? SEC is crazy. These entities are absolutely insane. But I think what Stellar has been doing, working with United Nations, taking all of these meetings with senators, being on all of these government panels, we've lived through it. I think what they're doing, I really do. I think they're positioning themselves to be the coin that runs retail, like connects everything retail together, or at least a great deal of it. Connects most things retail in the United States. I go further. I think they want to do it around the world, but I think they really have their eyes set on the United States. Why do I say that? I say that because of all the respect that has been shown to Stellar from the United States. Why is the White House calling them? I think that they've been chosen for that, to connect retail, interoperability, smart contracts. The small businesses can look to Stellar. Nobody controls what you do if you build on Stellar. They like that freedom. They like having that power. And Stellar just hands it to them. Here you go. And I think that's going to have a great effect on XLM. I could be completely wrong. I only speak for myself. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You don't buy or sell anything because I say anything. I'm just a humble researcher. That's all. That's all I want to be. But I do want to share my thoughts as well. I get excited. And I like to connect with the people and be honest with the people. That's it. Nothing more. I'm a believer in Stellar, right? I think we're going to see a lot. Watch the small bank connections. If we start getting, look, the big banks are great. That's great. Never underestimate the power of the underdog. The small banks are in trouble. Who are they going to turn to? I believe that Ripple wielding XRP will continue to concentrate on the big banks. They really have that mind to replace Swift. I believe Stellar will replace Swift and the rest of the world. The rest of the world loves Stellar, and they're being pushed by so many companies: Everynet, Velo, Lightnet. It goes on and on. And what was that new company? There was a new company that congealed with all of those other ones. They congealed with Lightnet, Everynet, Velo. There was another company. So you have all these companies trying to replace Swift and the rest of the world with Stellar. But I think what Stellar's going to do, they're going to look for the small banks, businesses. Check cashing places are in trouble when Stellar runs wild. Keep that in mind. My apologies. I have like air in my chest. Keep that in mind. Check caching places are in trouble when Stellar runs wild. And that's a lot of money. There's a lot of people don't like to go to banks. Oh, they know how to protect their capital, by the way. So they take their cash out over it. Don't worry about it. It's safe. So they just bypass banks. They go to check cashers. Check cashers take a little percentage off the top of that money and then give you your fiat, your legal tender. There's so much we can do. There's so much. I really hope that DLTs can be fully unleashed. Fully unleashed. You can get your capital from a stellar ATM that takes just a tiny, obviously someone has to make the ATM. Obviously someone has to purchase it, put it there, but it's based on a stellar system, but it only takes out the tiniest fee. All you have to do is beat the check cashers. That's all you have to do. And then a lot of unbanked and underbanked money will flow through you. It's not just good for possible holders of Stellar and the Stellar ecosystem. It would be good for the people on the ground everywhere. They can save tons of money. Check cashers are just taking their money in huge swaths. The people have been ready for something new. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time. I don't know how to put it together better than what I just gave to you now. So now let's move on to another article here. All right, so now we have a little bit of Hbar news. So this is a tweet from Hbar. It says, ultra low fees, high scalability, very high, in fact, immediate settlement, whether it be stable coins or tokens. I like that you included tokens. Keep those native tokens in the game. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. That's why all these companies are here, even though they're ignoring their native tokens. Some of them, the native tokens are why they can do what they do. Liquidating those native tokens. Don't you forget about the native tokens or the holders. So Hbar is not doing that. It says here, for individuals, decentralized applications, or enterprises, there is no better network for payments in Web3 than Hbar. Go, Hbar. Do what it is that you do. I like how you're talking. You're ready to dominate. Dominate. Bring all that business and bring it right to us. Make deals everywhere. I like this mentality. It says payments on Hbar. Yes. So Hbar, I would love to get an update on what new banks they've been bringing in. I'm being patient, because there was a string of months where they were bringing in a good amount of banks at an alarming rate. I believe that they're still in negotiations with new banks. Of course, I don't think that they've stopped, but some things have to happen behind the scenes, and you have to let the company breathe and do what it is that they do. I like what they're putting out here, and Hbar, I think, is going to be one of the biggest winners. They are one of the most secure. They are superior to blockchain technology. I almost said something. Wait, let me be careful, because I don't want to give away the members only video. All right, I'm gonna put that one out probably a little bit after this one here. So now let's move on here. So this article is from coingape.com. More signs of mass adoption, mass acceptance. This article is titled MasterCard Crypto Payment Card News. Breaking: MasterCard says expanding crypto card program. So we have regulations rolling out around the world. We have multiple places trying to become crypto hubs. And we have some of these non-banking financial institutions like MasterCard and Visa coming out the last few months and saying we're going to expand our crypto operations. Things are looking good, in my humble opinion. So it says here, payments processing giant MasterCard is set to grow its foray into the crypto assets industry with new partnerships going forward. According to latest reports, the company's officials revealed plans to seek more tie-ups with crypto businesses. And I believe MasterCard has some ties with a few bank coins. Visa definitely does. Visa has ties with Stellar. Visa has deep ties with Hbar. I mean, I think for Stellar, it was through Tala. Remember that? Tala? And then Hbar, obviously, Visa has ties, and they have integrated with FIS. FIS is on the governing board of Hbar. So there's, MBDCs, once again, MCBDCs, right? They're combining everything together. It's coming together, everyone. Patience wins the day. It says, according to the latest reports, the company's officials revealed plans to seek more tie-ups with crypto businesses and further expansion of its cryptocurrency payment card initiative. Another payments processing company, Visa, I was just talking about Visa. Another payments processing company, Visa, what's synchronicity, is also actively engaged with crypto firms as the digital assets market expands to mainstream businesses. Yes, they need to stay close to us because we're going to have more innovations. I told you that. And we're going to dominate, and the people will choose us over them. They don't trust these companies that have gotten close to the legacy system. They don't like how they've been treated in a bevy of ways. We will dominate. The future is bright, in my humble opinion, in more ways than people see. MasterCard crypto program expanding. According to Reuters report, the financial services company is set to expand its crypto payment card program with more partnerships with crypto companies. This is a welcome move for the crypto market. As such, big partnerships come at a crucial time when regulators in the United States enforce actions against crypto businesses. You see, and first you see Franklin Templeton doing what they did. You see Citi constantly talking about tokenization. You saw JP Morgan talking about tokenization. You have MasterCard doing this. They're getting impatient, and it's great for us. They're tired of waiting, and they're moving forward even without regulatory clarity in the United States. This is a very good sign, in my humble opinion. Let's move on to another article here. So I want to cover this one briefly because I thought it was very interesting, and we do have very close ties in blockchain with artificial intelligence, and it will only congeal more, machine learning, etc. It will only congeal more over time. Artificial intelligence and blockchain go hand in hand. DLT outright goes hand in hand with AI. This article is titled, "What are the threats of an AI digital god?" This is how they're phrasing it. You know, no offense. This is what the article is titled, okay? It says the dark side of artificial intelligence. I made a few videos on this, didn't I? It says the idea of an AI god. An AI digital god is a highly advanced, omnipotent AI system. This is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. It could potentially control or influence various aspects of human life. Didn't I say this before? I made a members only video. It was a while ago. I don't remember when it was some time ago. I made a few of them. And I was talking about an AI, if they unleashed an AI that learned at a geometric rate constantly. And now it has access to everybody's devices constantly. Your face is getting scanned by your cameras, right? Is that like an infrared or some kind of invisible light that they use, and your face constantly getting scanned? That means your area when you're not looking is constantly getting scanned. There's constant bits of data that could be extracted. I'm not saying the companies are extracting that data, but could be extracted, which means any artificial intelligence program that can learn at a massive rate would have access to all of that data. And it would know more than any person on earth has ever known in a moment. Then who can out-program it? If you wanted to keep this, this AI from accessing something, how could you do that? It would literally take over the quantum computing systems and could crack anything. What's going to stop it? I mean, maybe I'm overestimating these systems. You let me know. Let's read this little tidbit here. I just want to put this on your table. It says, this concept has gained traction recently. Prominent figures like Elon Musk and Sundar Pichai have discussed the potential risk of creating an AI system with godlike capabilities. Well, it's good that these type of individuals are speaking on this just because they're popular, I guess, and people might listen. But I've listened to real scientists, people that are reputable, and they voiced their concerns many years ago on this particular topic. Okay, so it says the development of AI technology has accelerated rapidly with companies like Google and OpenAI spearheading research and innovation. What they have is nothing. What they have is nothing compared to some of the things that are out there. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Google's DeepMind, for example, has achieved numerous breakthroughs, including mastering complex games like Go and advancing natural language processing capabilities. As these systems evolve, the notion of an AI digital god has become increasingly plausible. Elon Musk, they love to reference Elon Musk. I need someone more reputable. Although, I mean, someone who actually understands the fundamentals of building AI and the technicalities of it, and can put that information out there on both the negatives and the positives, as far as how do you shut it down? How do you defeat it? Are there anti-programs that already exist? You have to have a counterbalance. You mean to tell me in all the equations? I want to know equations. You mean to tell me in all the equations and programming that was come up that you didn't come up with a counterbalance? There's always a counterbalance, a neutralizer. What is the neutralizer? This is what we need to know. Of course, oh my word. Let me skip past that part here. Potential threats posed by an AI digital god, loss of privacy and surveillance. That's what you think the threats are? Not commandeering certain systems, you know. You don't, that's not the threat. Loss of privacy and surveillance. Let me break it to you. Certain entities today that are not AI, they're regular people, already compromise many people's privacy and surveillance. All right. So that's, you know, all right. Anyway. So it says unemployment and economic disruption. The rise of AI technology has already begun to reshape the job market, automation and machine learning. Let me stop there. That's another thing. I don't want to put this program out there that people are promoting right now. I've seen it. There's so many videos. People are using certain programs to try to do their jobs. I mean, the implications of that are so deep. If the jobs themselves find out that those programs can do what you do, why wouldn't the jobs, sure, they'll be upset with you. They might even fire you. Why wouldn't the jobs then employ that program, deploy that program to do what you do? And that would put that group of, that particular type of worker specialist out of work permanently. If those institute, I mean, I don't know how they want to go about this. This is about to get very interesting. You let me know down below. You concerned with AI, or you believe the AI is not a threat? I would love to hear your thoughts, and I can respect it. I can agree to disagree. I can respect everybody's thoughts. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. Okay. I'm just putting my opinion out there. That is all. All right. So now let's move on to another article here. So this is an article from Cointelegraph.com, and it's titled, European Bankers on Digital Euro. ECB has no interest in users' personal data. And it goes as such. While anonymity still stands as the core issue of a European CBDC, inevitable competition with private banks also raises questions. I told you, the central banks have found themselves at war and distrusted by the smaller banks. They just told you. The inevitable competition, it says, the inevitable competition with private banks. What is insane here, the central banks are supposed to be supervisory entities. They're never supposed to be in competition with these banks. That is an act of betrayal at a high level, in my humble opinion, and then the smaller banks' opinion, which is why at certain meetings, they've been calling it out. As various stakeholders in the European Union continue to research the potential of a single central bank digital currency, representatives of both private and public banking institutions share their opinion on the digital euro. In a new issue of the biannual Views magazine published in April, the topic of the digital euro received a heavy amount of attention from a number of speakers. Evelyn Whitlock, the program director for the digital euro at the European Central Bank, lays out 3 use cases prioritized by the ECB. These are person-to-person payments made between individuals, consumer-to-business payments, including e-commerce and purchases made in a physical shop, and payments to or by the government. The use cases are a sensitive area to private bankers, as Jerome Grivet, the deputy CEO of French bank Crédit Agricole, that's one of our banks, by the way, one of the Bancoin banks, says, stated, quote, central bank digital money could threaten the traditional banks. They're under threat. I told you, watch the small banks. Central banks are making big enemies. That's going to work in our favor. We can take advantage of that. Let's continue his quote. We're going to end off here, actually. Central bank digital money could threaten the traditional bank's business model by competing with their collection activity and disrupting their financing capacity. And you know what's interesting? The war hasn't even erupted yet between them. The small banks have been barking. They've been complaining. We've covered it for like about a year and a half. We actually read some documents in some of them old videos. We read some of the documents and transcripts that show that they are unhappy with what the central banks are doing. So when the war happens, when the war occurs, it will drive them. It can drive them towards the bank coins, the DLTs, the technology that could save them. Keep your eye on the small banks. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.